Hello, wonderful beings of the nerd community. Nick here, checking in on February 4th. I hope you're all having a great week and a great day so far. So I'm going to start doing a couple little housekeeping things before each check-in. So there's a couple quick things. First one is that the channel #nerds, events, and experiences was created by Ruth. And it was created because recently some nerds have sort of let us know that they're putting on events or experiences that they'd like to open up to nerds. Barry Golding is doing a sort of barefoot yoga class over Zoom. Lorna's doing a cooking class. So instead of mentioning them individually, we put together that channel. And so that's there for any nerds who want to post things that they're putting on for the world or things that they'd like to invite other nerds to participate in or to check out. I think we can be a really good focus group for each other to give each other feedback on how to improve, things that we liked about offerings that other nerds are putting out. So I think it's really cool that nerds are doing their own thing and reaching the world in different ways and engaging the world in different ways when it comes to health. So let's all support each other and help each other with feedback and participation. So thank you, Ruth, for creating that. Also, thank you to everyone who joined the Meat channel. I think the topic of meat is a really charged one. It's one that we all bring different perspectives with, and it was like a treat to read all of what people had written this morning. And it's just astounding, the depth of knowledge and the ability for us all to collectively hold space and, hear each other out without judgment and just be open-minded to other perspectives. I mean, I learned so many elements of that discussion that I didn't even know existed, right? That wasn't even on my radar. And so thank you to everyone who contributed. And I think based on, when we'll let that discussion run for maybe another week. And I think after that, we should sort of do a case study out of that discussion channel and sort of extract everything that was sort of said and put that into an updated chapter for meat in the Sapien Code. I kind of posed a question to that channel at the end of, how deep should we go with food? What is the objective for the food section of the Sapien Code? What information should be in there? What depth level should we go to? And how should we present it, right? I think we need to talk about the things we all collectively agree with, the really general first principles and heuristics that we can all feel comfortable saying as our current truth, and then update that over time and, be mindful to mention all the different elements that we can all bring in terms of different perspectives, whether that's our values, the morals around meat, our physiological understanding of, is meat necessary? What does it give that other things don't? Do we need to consume meat? And even talking about the whole cycle of life and death in humans as part of nature, and the fact that in order for life to occur, death must also have to occur. And I think, anyway, it's just a really well-rounded discussion. So thank you, everyone, for contributing to that. The major subject for today's check-in I'd like to talk about is the power of technology to scale both our impact and our ability for collective sense making. I'm just going to change position. My foot's cramping. Sort of the initial purpose of TFC app in its first iteration was really to fill a void, to create a distraction-free platform where all of us foot nerds who have sort of agreed on this base premise and sort of language of using science and critical thinking to be able to filter information, right? I think if we all build a really strong filter in terms of being able to detect bullshit and also understand sort of a framework for determining truth, then collectively, if we're all doing that with the same guidelines, we hold a lot of power as a community of humans to sort of curate information from the internet. If we agree on the rules, then we can know that all the information that we find and like aligns with those rules, even if it's from a radically different perspective than we have right now. And so, TFC app will continue to be in existence. However, certain things that are currently living in the app, like the Footner program, are going to be brought out into their own standalone application. And so we're working on that right now. And the reason being for that is that as more people come into the TFC app environment, it creates obstacles in terms of performance, right? The more people on a server, the less performance each individual is going to have. And I think, foot nerds are paying enrollment fees to be part of this community. We don't want there to be any performance impediments for their experience of being able to learn through that digital platform. So making it its own thing and ensuring reliability that's independent of performance issues caused by higher volume in TFC app, I think is important. But I think TFC app as a both a clean, distraction-free learning environment for the public, and for lack of a better term, I don't like this term, but let's say user. The average person in the public can download TFC app. It does not cost anything as long as they have a device, and we're working on an Android version finally. Right now we have some resources to do that, but they can go in there and search whatever information on whatever topic they want related to health, and know that the videos that they come across, or the podcasts, or the book recommendations, or eventually the recipe templates, or written articles, have been populated by a group of humans, us foot nerds, and they abide by sort of the rules of critical thinking, scientific method, and providing applicable information that aims to simplify health, right? And if we can create this really beautiful, clean, simple environment that doesn't participate in the traditional way of making money from a platform, which is to capture our attention, to distract us with either ads or to distract us with content that makes us engage with that platform for the right or the wrong reasons. And also, YouTube is an information ecosystem that has gotten very muddy. It's really hard to determine truth when so much is coming at you, when companies are creating algorithms to ensure that you're there for a long period of time, but aren't actually paying any attention as to whether the information that they're putting in front of you is good quality, bad quality, reflects the truth, reflects a narrative that someone's trying to push. So I think as a sense-making tool where we can all put content in there that we can all watch, that comes from different perspectives so that we are exposed to sort of a balanced array of information, right? There might be videos about veganism, but also videos about the carnivore diet and videos talking about food in general that are very well balanced. I think there's something to be said about that as a collective sense-making tool and as a clean environment for individuals from the public to be able to enter into and view content. I think technology really is a really cool thing. Whether it's our use of Slack to communicate with each other and have generative discussions, whether it's our individual use of Instagram to share our personal stories and reach tons of people across the entire planet and hopefully give them a different take or serve as a role model for them to be able to learn from. Technology really holds the key to exponentially scaling our ability to positively impact the world. And so the question then becomes like, what is the best way for us within TFC and within the Footner program to use technology in order to scale up how much we can impact the world? And so, all these applications we're creating are really, the new one called Beamin is really an experiment. Can we make beam training into a fun game that you play with your body and have that be accessible and free to everyone and see what comes of it? I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I know that people get addicted to games on their phones that are very low in terms of fulfillment and do nothing to enhance health. Can we combine health with the addictiveness and the game theory of traditional games like Candy Crush to create a cool application that lets people embody movement and training their mind to be quiet and to focus on a task at hand? So most of these are experiments, but all I know is that TFC app is here to stay. It's going to morph and change into a simpler tool for the public community to be able to use to inform themselves and to get a non-algorithmically curated subset of information that's balanced in terms of the different perspectives. That's really the goal of TFC app. I think that Instagram and YouTube serve a purpose, but it's kind of like we're going into the jungle and finding the gems. The jungle being YouTube and Instagram. There's dangers there. We might be more aware of the dangers than the average person. To go and mine out the good stuff and then put that into sort of like a camp that has fences around it so predators can't get at you, right? Companies can't get in there and distract you. And have it be like a really clean information economy, that's evolving over time, but that basically treats people's attention as sacred, where if you enter into that space and you want to explore information, you know that distraction is not the way that that platform makes money. Eventually it's going to have to make money. And I think the best way to do that is by donation, and also align with sort of our partners whose products we sell and whose products we agree with, and allow them to advertise to our community. And so, there's going to be some challenges ahead of what we can do to be able to fund and continue hosting that platform. But I just hope everyone can think of, are we using technology in a way that really does allow us to scale our impact? And are there different ways we can use TFC app to reach people with the right information? And so I'd love to hear anyone's feedback or suggestions. And if we can make it easier for nerds to add content in TFC app, I would love to know how to simplify the process for everyone so that we can really populate some really good stuff into that information ecosystem that our entire global community can access. So hopefully that wasn't too much of a ramble, went a bit over time on this one. But thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next week.